Good morning, everyone. It gives me a great pleasure to be with you today, this morning. And allow me, I know we have a tight schedule, so allow me to start by sharing my screen and start with our discussion. I hope that this discussion will be as fruitful as you expect. And in fact, when I was asked to present this talk, I was wondering what should I be talking about, but then I thought maybe it's very important currently to talk about something that is really urgent. The difference between collecting data, making good data, and having great capabilities with these data, and forgetting about the dignity of the people and the humanity that we all live in. And so I thought that maybe I should be talking about something that is related to the law, related to the legislations, and at the same time related to our being humans at the first place. So let me start. Excellencies, distinguished scholars, respected colleague speakers, and panelists, dear students, the future leaders of our world, ladies and gentlemen. Before I begin, allow me to share with you that I visited India, New Delhi specifically, twice. Once as a tourist, discovering that one lifetime is not enough to explore India, and once by invitation to attend an international conference and to give a keynote speech as well. Both visits affirmed and confirmed to me that India is not only rich in heritage and culture, but also in ideas and thought leaders. I'm hopeful that my next visit will be, inshallah, to Hyderabad, not only as a speaker, but also as a learner and as a tourist. Now, let me turn into the subject of my address to you this morning. From data to dignity, what about law, AI, and trust? I have, in fact, 10 slides that will be accompanying me with my speech. Those slides, they will have just a heading so that I keep, focused with my respected participants of the conference. We're not living through a moment of technological novelty at all. We are living through a moment of legal and institutional transformation. It's a defining moment for law, for technology, and for society. Artificial intelligence is no longer confined in the laboratories or in pilot projects. It's already embedded in courts, police systems, immigration authorities, tax administrations, and regulatory agencies across the world. In several jurisdictions, AI tools assist judges with case allocation and label management. Prosecutors use machine learning to analyze large volumes of digital evidence. Financial regulators deploy AI to detect fraud, money laundering, and market manipulation. So, law is no longer observing technology from the outside, it is operating it from the inside. The question now before us is not whether AI will shape legal systems, it already does, but how can we compromise the use of technology while keeping privacy, dignity, sovereignty, culture to the people? The real question is whether law, governance, and leadership will shape AI, or whether AI will quietly reshape law without democratic consent. Having said that, maybe we need to go a bit into the understanding of the technical reality of AI. And I don't mean by technical, really technical terms, but I mean, how does it function in general terms? To govern wisely, we must understand clearly artificial intelligence does not think. It does not intend, does not have feelings, it does not sympathize or empathize with others, so it does not understand justice or fairness or equity. AI systems, they do infer from data, optimize patterns, and replicate historical behavior. distinction matters profoundly. In some criminal justice systems, AI-based risk assessment tools have been used to inform bail or sentencing decisions. These systems do not decide outcomes, but in fact, they do influence a human judgment. What these deployments revealed is critical. When AI is trained on biased or incomplete data, it can scale inequality without hatred, and thus AI becomes not AI for artificial intelligence, but rather for accelerated inequality. Capability is never judgment. Automation is never wisdom. And because AI lacks intent and moral agency, traditional legal concepts, especially criminal liability, face structural strain. Therefore, protecting our privacy, protecting our data, having sovereignty over our data, whether we're individuals, we're organizations, whether we are, government agencies, it's not about resisting technology at all, so that I don't get misunderstood. It's about protecting human autonomy and legitimacy in digital governance. From data to dignity, that's the concept. We often hear that data is the new oil. The metaphor is convenient indeed, but it is incomplete. Data is not oil. Data is every individual's private life expressed in digital terms. Oil, you can use it once and it gets burned out. Meanwhile, our data, the more you put into it, the more it reflects into your life and into the other people's that are using your data. So across the world, AI systems process deeply personal data to allocate welfare benefits, to flag immigration risks, to prioritize tax audit, to assess creditworthiness. All of these are personalized data. When errors occur, they are not abstract. They affect livelihoods, reputations, and human dignity. This is why the principle must be clear and uncompromising. One lesson repeats itself across real-world AI deployments. Retroactive correction is always more costly than preventive design. Predictive policing systems introduced to optimize resource allocation often reinforced existing patterns of over-surveillance, not because of intent, but because ethics were not part of the design. They were not into the system from the start. That's why we always say ethics by design, not by apology, nor or by desire. So ethics by design, what I mean by that, it is embedding the human oversight, having the human oversight embedded in the system. Excuse me. And part of that is embedding it in the algorithm on the very basic foundation of writing the algorithm. Ethics should be there. Also, by design, we mean embedding transparency and accountability and auditability, meaningful remedies for affected individuals. When ethics are postponed, trust erodes. When ethics are designed early, trust becomes possible. Thus, trust is the foundation for any jurisdiction, law or decision. A central challenge raised by AI is responsibility for harm. The accountability dilemma. When AI causes harm, what happens? Well, yet AI cannot be punished. It cannot be imprisoned or even morally blamed. But yet harm persists. Consider, for example, autonomous vehicles. When accidents occur, courts do not prosecute the algorithm. They examine the design choices, the software governance, the safety oversight, and human control. The same logic must be applied across AI systems in law. Accountability must follow control, as always should be the case. Now, where humans design, deploy, supervise, or profit from AI systems, legal responsibility must remain human. It's the decision of the humans. We should always use AI as an assistant, as a tool in our hand, as a support for our decision maker. We should be always in the loop and over the decision making, not under or within. Anything else risks eroding the coherence of the rule of the law and, of course, the loss of justice. Well, law moves deliberately. Meanwhile, as we all can see now, technology evolves exponentially. Now we can see AI. We as technical people, we got so tired of and the following up on the new technologies every night, every day, every second. So, in fact, this is an issue that we need to be so careful with, very careful with. Technology evolves exponentially. This matches require a shift from static rules to adaptive governance. So our governance should be flexible and should, if I can use the word, have the same strands that we have in technology, not behind it. We hope that it can be forward looking before it, but at least if it's not in the lead, it should be equally on the same footsteps. From reaction to anticipatory policy, proactively, cognitively, before AI can do the work, we should have the judgment ahead of time ready. From isolated laws to system level regulations, many jurisdictions are now moving towards risk-based AI frameworks, and this works quite well, focusing regulatory attention where the harm is most likely and most severe. So it's based on expectations and being proactive. The goal is not to slow innovation at all. The goal is legal certainty, democratic legitimacy, and public trust. I have a message to the future leaders, the emerging professionals, and our students. I have a message for them today. I hope that they will carry it over for the future. You will practice law in a world where AI drafts contracts, reviews evidence, predicts outcomes, and assists decision makers. Your value will not lie in competing with machines on speed. You can never do that again. It will lie in judgment, context, and ethical direction. You're not merely learning law, you are shaping the moral and institutional infrastructure of the future. You know, at the end of the day, we are all humans and we should always choose humanity. Choosing humanity means designing systems that are transparent, accountable, and worthy of trust. It means thinking beyond short-term efficiency towards long-term human impact. If we succeed, AI will not weaken the rule of law. Oppositely, it will reinforce it. And that deliberate choice, calm, informed, and human-centered, is the true measure of leadership in our time. Last but not the least at all, the future will not be judged by how intelligent our machines became, but by how humane we choose to remain. But by humane, we choose to remain. What I mean by that, artificial intelligence will continue to advance. That is inevitable. What is not inevitable is how we govern it. Thank you so much.